In the wild world of custom cars, where sparks fly and metal gets a second chance at life, the name Bad Chad Customs became a global sensation. From a small garage in rural Nova Scotia, Chad Hiltz, the master builder, turned scrapyard junk into automotive art. But every mad genius needs a steady hand, a sharp mind to turn that chaos into a business. And in the world of Bad Chad, that person has always been Jolene MacIntyre. She's not just a co-star, she's the business manager, the brand architect, and the person who keeps the entire complex machine running on time and on budget. For the millions of fans who tuned into their Discovery show, she was the indispensable Queen Jolene, the calm in the eye of a very creative storm. Jolene was the engine that powered one of TV's most creative car shows. But in late 2024, her world was brought to a screeching halt by a devastating personal loss that nearly cost her everything. The vibrant, unstoppable force behind Bad Chad Customs was suddenly facing a darkness no camera could capture. A pain so immense it threatened to shatter the entire empire she had so carefully built. This is the untold story of the immense loss that almost made her walk away from it all, and the incredible resilience that saw her fight her way back from the brink. To really get the weight of Jolene's crisis in late 2024, you have to understand the sheer scale of what she built. Her story with Chad didn't start under bright TV lights. It began with a chance meeting and a shared vision. When Jolene, fresh out of college with a commerce degree, met Chad Hiltz, he was a local legend. He was a self-taught savant of car customization, famous for seeing treasure where everyone else saw junk. She, with a sharp mind for business, saw something more, the seed of a global brand. It was Jolene who took Chad's raw talent and built a stage for it. Long before the Discovery Channel came knocking, she was the one putting in the work, promoting Chad's creations and building their online presence from the ground up. She saw the power of social media when it was still a revolutionary idea for brand building. The perfect example was the project that changed their lives, a replica of the iconic 1938 Bugatti Type 57SC Atlantic. Recognizing the massive potential, Jolene made a brilliant move. She filmed the entire build on her phone, posting weekly progress videos on their Facebook page. Week after week, the audience grew, the hype snowballed, and the world started to notice the magic happening in that little garage in Canning, Nova Scotia. It was this social media buzz, orchestrated entirely by Jolene, that caught the eye of TV producers and led to Bad Chad Customs. Her role was never passive. She wasn't just a supportive partner. She was the one who transformed the business. When legal issues popped up with their original shop name, Green Goblin Customs, it was Jolene who handled the rebranding to the now famous Hiltz Auto Co. She was the one who negotiated the deal with Discovery, making sure the terms were right for them and setting the stage for their international debut. Once the show aired, her job exploded. On camera, we saw her keeping Chad's crazy deadlines in check, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. She crunched the numbers, managed budgets on tight TV timelines, organized the builds, and handled the immense pressure of production. And she wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty, often jumping in to help with the builds herself. But maybe Jolene's smartest move was building the Bad Chad brand into something that could survive without television. She knew the show was a launch pad, not the final destination. While it was at its peak, she was laying the groundwork for a multifaceted business. She cultivated a massive social media following, creating a connection with fans that felt more real than a slick TV production. She also launched a lucrative merchandise line, turning the Hiltz Auto Co. logo into another major source of revenue. Jolene also took the brand global, organizing appearances in countries like Australia and Sweden, connecting with fans and solidifying their international stardom. So when the pandemic impacted the TV show's run, Jolene's strategy of shifting focus to YouTube and Facebook didn't just save the brand, it made it more successful than ever. She started producing raw daily videos that gave fans an even deeper look into their world. The move was so successful, they turned down a seven-figure offer from someone wanting to buy into their YouTube channel. They were building, as she called it, an automotive soap opera, and she was the one-woman crew behind it all. Jolene wasn't just a co-star. She was the architect of an empire. The year 2024 should have been Jolene MacIntyre's victory lap. The Bad Chad Customs brand was a global powerhouse, more successful and with a larger audience on social media than ever before. New buildings were going up on their property, a clear sign of their massive success. Jolene was at the top of her game, a celebrated business mind who had turned a local garage into an international name. But in the final months of that year, the world she had, so carefully constructed, was shaken to its core. The tragedy wasn't a business deal gone wrong. It was deeply personal. Her mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and after a devastatingly swift 5-week battle, she passed away on November 28, 2024. For anyone, losing a parent is a profound blow. For Jolene, a person built on strength, control, and non-stop momentum, it was a cataclysm. This wasn't a problem that could be solved with a spreadsheet or a business plan. It was a raw, personal wound that hit the very core of her being. In the aftermath, the vibrant world of custom cars faded to gray. The joy she found in her work vanished, replaced by sleepless nights and a bone-deep emotional exhaustion. The work, once her passion, now felt like an unbearable weight. And the simple truth is, Jolene was the engine of Hiltz Auto Co. While she was reeling from her loss, the demands of the empire she built didn't stop. Emails piled up. Video deadlines loomed. Financial decisions had to be made. The pressure she had always handled with grace now felt suffocating. This personal grief quickly spiraled into a professional crisis. The long hours, the constant travel, the pressure of being a public figure, it all became impossible. Every ounce of her energy was consumed by grief, leaving nothing for the brand. The kingdom she had built was at risk of falling apart because its architect was in unbearable pain. It all led to a breaking point. The untold story, the part no one saw on social media, was that Jolene was seriously preparing to walk away. It wasn't just a bad day. Sources close to her revealed she was actively planning to quit the project entirely. The thought, "I can't do this anymore," was a constant echo. She was faced with a choice between her own well-being and the survival of the empire she and Chad had created. For the EA, first time, the woman who lived by the motto, "It doesn't matter how fast you go as long as you don't stop," had come to a grinding halt. The question was no longer how she would keep going, but if. Standing at a crossroads, with the empire she helped create hanging in the balance, Jolene MacIntyre had to make the toughest decision of her life. Walking away to heal in private would have been the logical choice. But in the depths of her grief, the same resilience that helped her build the business in the first place started to kick in. The decision to stay wasn't easy, and it wasn't a quick return to normal. It was a deliberate choice, forged in the fire of her personal tragedy. So, what made her stay? A mix of duty, love, and a stark realization of what was at stake. She knew that if she walked away, everything they had worked for could crumble. Even in her darkest moment, she thought about the livelihoods and the community that depended on their work. But more than that, the business was a part of her, a testament to her own strength and vision. She also found a way to draw strength from the source of her pain. In a video discussing her struggle, Jolene shared that thinking about her mother every day is what keeps her going, helping her to follow the values her mother taught her. The work became a way to honor that memory, to keep moving forward not in spite of her loss, but because of it. but staying meant the old way of doing things had to go. This is where Jolene's strategic brilliance kicked in again. During the first few months of 2025, she began to rebuild Hiltz Auto Co. with a new, more sustainable blueprint. She started delegating tasks that used to consume her, empowering her team, and giving them a bigger voice, a leadership style she had always believed. And most importantly, she started setting firm boundaries. For a public figure whose life and work were so blended, this was a huge change. It meant carving out protected time for herself, for family, and for healing, away from the demands of the camera. The always-on mentality was retired. This new model was about working smarter, not just harder, turning a moment of vulnerability into a masterclass in sustainable leadership. The tragedy also reshaped her priorities. Before, her life was almost entirely focused on work. Afterward, she began to deliberately focus on family and the little things. Traveling with Chad and gathering with family became newfound priorities she actively protected. This didn't shrink her ambition, but it recontextualized it. The business was now part of a richer, more balanced life. Today, the state of the empire reflects her resilience. Bad Chad Customs is thriving. They've completed their massive new 60 by 100-foot showroom, a project that symbolizes not just expansion, but their refusal to give up. The YouTube channel is a huge success, and the return of Chad's son, Colton, to the team has provided another source of family strength, reinforcing Jolene's decision to push forward. Jolene's story has become more than just a behind-the-scenes. Look at a TV show. It's a powerful narrative of resilience in a male-dominated industry. She faced the ultimate personal test, stared into the abyss, and chose to fight her way back, not by ignoring her pain, but by integrating it into a new, profound source of strength. The journey of Jolene MacIntyre is the real story of Bad Chad Customs. While the world was mesmerized by the wild machines rolling out of the garage, the true architecture of that success was being drafted by a woman with incredible vision and grit. From building a social media following out of nothing to navigating high-stakes TV deals and creating a powerhouse digital brand, Jolene has been the constant driving force. Her story is a powerful reminder that behind every dazzling success, there are often unseen struggles and immense personal sacrifices. In late 2024, faced with a heartbreaking loss that would have broken most, Jolene was pushed to her absolute limit. Her decision not just to stay, but to reinvent her role and her relationship with the empire she built is the ultimate testament to her character. It's a story of resilience, of the strength it takes to lead while grieving, and the wisdom to know that true strength isn't about never falling, but how you choose to get back up. Jolene MacIntyre found power in her work, not as an escape, but as a tribute. She transformed her pain into a renewed purpose, balancing her fierce ambition with a new appreciation for life. She remains the heart and the brains of Hiltz Auto Co., a respected leader in the automotive world and an inspiration. The cars will always be the stars, but the enduring legacy of the brand is built on the quiet, unyielding strength of its queen. What do you admire most about Jolene's story of resilience? Let us know down in the comments. If you found this story inspiring, do us a favor and hit that like button, subscribe for more untold stories, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. And for another deep dive into the fascinating figures of the custom car world, check out our video on what really happened to Richard Rawlings from Fast and Loud. Thanks for watching.